Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's that time again. Time for some more awesome indigenous intellect here at Sisseton Wahpeton College in all its lovely minus 14-degree glory. And today I'm just going to rip a story right off the top of my head. I'm making it up as I go along. But bear with me and you will understand the method to my madness. Are you ready? Let's begin. Once upon a time, not too long ago, Indian time, there was a Jokong. I don't remember how to say this in English. Jokong. I know! Abalone shell. And the abalone shell sat on a boring old professor's boring old shelf, gathering dust, doing nothing. Now, in its past life, it had been home to a beautiful creature that oozed along the sea floor and the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California. But after his previous owner passed away, he got collected and I could say he got collected by the boring old professor, and he's been sitting on the shelf for years and years doing nothing, just sitting here gathering dust. And he was so bored, he sat with his brothers and sisters, and they all sighed together. Oh, we wish something would happen. But one day, the crazy old professor opened his office door and welcomed in one of his former students, a Wicasta Wakan. We say in English, holy man, I guess. And he brought the Wicasta Wakan over to the shells and he said, pick one. And the holy man said, well, whoa, really? And the shells were all happy. They're all thinking to themselves, oh, I hope they pick me. Oh, I hope they pick me. But this shell here, Mr. Joe Kong, he's thinking, oh man, I'm the oldest and I'm the most beat up of all the shelves. Nobody's going to pick me. Did I say shelves? I meant shells. I'm the oldest of all the shells. I got a big old hole in me right there, and all my colors flaking off. Look at my younger sister over here. She's smaller, but she's so colorful. Look at this dude over here, my brother. He's about the same size as me, just a little smaller, but still, he's totally intact. He's younger than I. And my two sisters over here, they're gold plated. And this sister here, she's the coolest and sexiest of them all because she's got some little lucite footy foots on her. So there's no way nobody's going to pick me. And the books all sitting behind them were all thinking to themselves, well, yeah, maybe this guy's right. That Wicasta Wakan's not going to pick him. He's all holy. But, put his back, though Wicasta Wakan was thinking carefully, wow, I get the honor to choose one of my teacher's shells. He says, how about that one? And holy smoke, wouldn't you know it, the Wicasta Wakan chose the oldest, most beat up shell. And the old beat up shell was so happy because he got to be honored as a sacred item used in the sweat lodge to smudge all the sweat lodge ceremonialists or participants. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Now, I'm going to close my door because I'm getting too loud and I'm starting to uh, annoy everybody in the other offices. My question to you is, if we were to turn this into a children's book, could we consider it native literature? It's a story told by natives, and it's got a native story behind it, kind of, sort of, but it doesn't have any humans really, except for the Wicasta Wakan and the old professor, but primarily it's The point of view or our main character is an inanimate object. And if you know anything about non natives, they get all uppity about it, or their panties in a bunch. They call it the pathetic fallacy, where we attribute human characteristics to non human items. In this case, our main character is a jokong, an abalone shell. Can we consider that native literature? Here's another question I asked before. I'm going to ask it again. Here's one of my favorite books. It is written by a non-native. His name is Christopher Moore. But the characters are native, and the story is just chock full of Indian humor. And what's really cool about it is I bought this book in, of all places, Nepal. I was just wandering around the streets of Kathmandu one day, stumbled into a bookstore and picked it up off the shelf. I think I paid 190 rupees. Yes, I did. I don't even know how much that is US dollars. Probably less than a dollar, maybe like 50 cents or something. But this is a non-native author, but the book has native characters who, this book is so Indian. I mean, it's just hilarious. It uses Indian humor and has talks about life on the res. Can we consider that native literature or not? Now, while we're messing around with this, I got one more thing to bother you with. I'm going to post this up on eLearning. Again, I apologize for shaking my iPad, but it's hard. I'm holding a microphone in my hand and an iPad in my hand, and I'm trying to get this all done. Some key literary terms that I need to torture you guys with: allegory, allusion, archetype, conflict, blah, 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 blah. Somehow it got bigger. That's cool. So, yeah, characterization. I'm not going to sit here and define this stuff for you, but I do want to challenge you with the characterization thing that I mentioned before. Characterization being how authors develop characters through description, dialogue, action, and inner thought. Can an inanimate object be considered a legitimate character? Uh, was my story that I just pulled off the top of my head, did it have any of this stuff? Did it have allegory, allusions, archetype? Was there a conflict in the story? What was the conflict? Struggle between opposing forces that drives the action of the story. Without a conflict, stories stall. Characters need something to wrestle with in order to grow, change, or reveal meaning. Be on guard, though, that a conflict doesn't necessarily have to be a fight, character versus character, character versus nature or society or fate. It could be an internal struggle as well. Character versus self or inner thoughts. So here we go. Let's scroll down some more. I'm going to hit the button here. We got plot. Did my story have a plot? What was the point of view? What was the setting? Was there any symbolism? What was the theme, the central idea or underlying message of the work? What was the tone, the author's attitude? And what was the voice? Again, I could sit here and yak, yak, yak all the time away, but I've already spoken for 9 minutes, and I hope we accomplished something. Again, I will save this as a PDF and stick it up on eLearning for you guys. Thank you so much for your patience, and we'll talk to you later.